Today, I gave every team in the NFL a random legend quarterback. And to do this, I first gave each team the best QB they've ever had. Some teams even got more than one. Then, I released every quarterback into free agency so they were free to sign with any team. Like literally, no team has a QB on their roster. And with everything in this franchise set to auto, we can sim all the way to the playoffs. So we can find out where everyone signed and see how they did on their new teams. We'll start out with the AFC, where in the East, the Patriots won the division at 13-4, and they selected Kurt Warner to be their legend quarterback, and he threw for almost 4,000 yards, 38 touchdowns, and only 7 picks. And the Bills also made the playoffs from the East, going 11-6 with Ben Roethlisberger as their quarterback, and he had a great year with 4,300 yards, 40 touchdowns to only 2 picks. The Jets were one of a few teams to take a current-day quarterback with Joe Burrow, and he threw for 3,800 yards and 32 touchdowns. It's honestly kind of refreshing to see him not put up crazy numbers for once. Like, I feel like in every sim I do, he throws for 5,000 yards and always wins MVP. And last in the East was the Dolphins, who picked Russell Wilson to be their quarterback. Just want to mention, this is a young, prime version of Russ. Since I started out by giving every team the best quarterback they've ever had, the Seahawks obviously had to get prime Russ back, but this year playing on the Dolphins, he threw for 3,500 yards and 24 touchdowns. In the AFC North, the Steelers got the 1 seed going 15-2, with the Bengals behind them making the playoffs at 13-4. The Steelers ended up with Vikings legend Fran Tarkenton as their QB, and he had 3,400 yards and 28 touchdowns. The Bengals got very lucky and picked up Andrew Luck, and he had a great year statistically with 4,700 yards and 41 touchdowns. The Ravens got Donovan McNabb, who only had 2,500 yards and 16 touchdowns, and the Browns were somehow god-awful with Terry Bradshaw as their QB, even though he threw for like 3,500 yards and 25 touchdowns and only 9 picks. Like, these are not bad numbers. In the South, the Colts won the division at 11-6, and they had Mike Vick as their quarterback, who threw for 3,800 yards and 31 touchdowns, and also added 600 yards and another 6 touchdowns on the ground. Jaguars signed a prime Matt Stafford, who had 3,200 yards and 17 touchdowns. The Texans got Steve McNair, which is kind of funny when you consider he started his career as a Houston Oiler, but now on the Houston Texans, he had 3,700 yards and 32 touchdowns. And last in the South was the Titans, who got Ken Stabler, who had a pretty weak year with 3,000 yards and only 14 touchdowns. Now, lastly in the West, the Chargers won the division at 12-5, with the Broncos also making the playoffs at 11-6. And I showed you how I set this video up. Like, the whole point is that I put 40 quarterback options in free agency and left it completely up to chance where they signed. But the Chargers actually signed Drew Brees out of free agency, and he had a monster year with 5,200 yards and 50 touchdowns. Like, that's just too perfect. And the Broncos finished second in the division with Dan Marino as their quarterback, and he also had a great year with 4,700 yards and 45 touchdowns. The Chiefs finished third in the division with a young, prime Aaron Rodgers, who had 4K yards and 31 touchdowns passing. And surprisingly, the Raiders were terrible with Peyton Manning as their QB. Like, he somehow only managed 3,300 yards and 19 touchdowns. And now on the NFC side, the Commanders won the NFC East at 11-6, and they had Super Bowl winner Steve Young as their quarterback, and he had a great year passing with 4K yards, 38 touchdowns, and only 3 picks. The Cowboys barely missed the playoffs, going 9-8 with Cam Newton as their QB. And oh my god, this is MVP Cam, because he had 5,100 yards passing and 51 touchdowns. Plus, he added 550 and 3 touchdowns on the ground. The Eagles only managed to win 6 games with Warren Moon, but honestly throwing for 3,833, I really don't think he was the problem. And the Giants with Jim Kelly finished last in the East, but again, I don't think he was the problem. 4,100 yards and 34 touchdowns. Now moving to the NFC North, the Vikings, Bears, and Lions all made the playoffs, but Minnesota won the division with Joe Theismann, who threw for 3,531. John Elway got the Bears to the playoffs, throwing for 3,700 yards and 33 touchdowns, and the Lions were led by Roger Staubach, who threw for 4,134 touchdowns. And somehow, the Packers with Tom Brady at QB finished last in the division, even though he had a pretty good year with 3,735 touchdowns. In the NFC South, the Falcons grabbed the 2 seed going 12-5. Oh my god, that's hilarious. They got Brett Favre, who they drafted and then traded away in real life. And he had a great year throwing for 4,100 yards and 38 touchdowns. Bucks picked up Lamar Jackson and only managed 8 wins. He did manage 3,600 yards and 26 touchdowns, but this playbook's not made for a rushing quarterback. Matt Ryan somehow dragged the Saints to 7 wins, throwing for 3,526, and the Chiefs legend Len Dawson ended up on the Panthers, but the team finished last in the division behind his 3K yards and only 20 touchdowns. And now last up in the West, the Seahawks got the number 1 seed at 14-3, which honestly is not that shocking considering they got Joe Montana. What is very surprising is he only had 3,200 yards and 24 touchdowns. I honestly expected a better year statistically, but the Rams, now led by Josh Allen, also made the playoffs, picking up 12 wins behind his 4,300 yards and 39 touchdowns. The 49ers finished third in the West with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, and he threw for 3,328 in San Fran. The last in the division was the Cardinals with Troy Aikman, who had 3,727 touchdowns. So yeah, Drew Brees finished with the most yards, and Cam Newton barely with the most touchdowns. And with all these legend QBs, the receiving numbers are pretty nuts. Lad McConkey had almost 2K yards and 24 touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb, 1,816. Puka had 1,623. Jamar Chase had 1,514. Devon Vele had 1,421. And George Pickens had 1,520. Now the question is, who won MVP? Wow, it was actually Cam Newton. I definitely thought it was going to be Drew Brees. But now, this is going to be our playoff bracket for the legend quarterback season. But hey, if you're liking the video, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button too while you're at it. Videos like this take a ton of time to set up, like to create all the players, film the whole season, record all the extra B-roll footage so you can actually see what the players look like on the new teams, and of course edit it all together. Like, it takes a ton of time and I do it all by myself. So please click the 2 buttons. I would greatly appreciate it. Now back to the video. We'll start out in the wild card with the Lions versus Falcons. And in the 4th quarter, we're tied at 10. And Roger Staubach has him at the 18. He's going to hand off to Jameer Gibbs, who's going to spin forward and gain 5 on that play as the clock is approaching 3 minutes. Now it's 3rd and 4. He is going to throw on this one. He looks like he's going to run, and he's actually going to pick up the first with his legs and get all the way down to the 5 right before the 2-minute warning. He's throwing to the back of the end zone where he's got Tim Patrick wide open. But Brett Favre's got 2 minutes on the clock to make a comeback. They're up to their own 46. We're about 90 seconds in this game. That's caught. That really looked like it could have been a pick. He's going to throw outside here to, who is that? Is that Mooney? It was, and he got all the way down to the 25, and they used the timeout, which makes no sense why you'd run the ball on the next play. But he's throwing up the sideline to the end zone, and he's got Ray McCloud wide open for the touchdown. Now it's right back to Staubach, who's got 3 timeouts and only has to get him in field goal range. They got 9 yards on that and burn their first timeout, and they pick up a first. Clock going under 40 seconds now. Quick pass by Staubach to St. Brown, who shakes forward. So there's 25 seconds left. They're at the Falcons 42. He's throwing out, and he gets out of bounds. They're definitely in field goal range now, and they still have a timeout in their pocket. And for some reason, they called timeout with 12 seconds. That was the weirdest snap. I thought that was getting blocked. It really looked like he dropped the snap. He did kind of drop the snap. I don't know if I've ever seen that happen before. I mean, they still made it, which is all that matters, but they did give the Falcons the ball back, and they check it down. Oh, there's 1 second. The Lions could have run the whole clock out, but for some reason, they called their timeout early, and he throws it. Check down again. So Roger Staubach and the Lions take down Brett Favre and the Falcons. Next, we'll move on to the Bills versus Patriots, and they are tied at 17 with 2 minutes to go, and they are at the 50-yard line. Now it's 3rd down. It looks like they're going to hand off, and they are, and Stevenson's not getting it. So the Bills get the ball back with a lot of time, and it's a bad snap, and he's getting tackled. That's 2 games in a row with bad snaps on special teams. So that gives Big Ben 90 seconds to get them into field goal range, which is really not that far from where they're at right now. But he only gained 2 there, so it's 3rd down. He's checking down again, and he gains nothing on this one. So they're gonna attempt a 56-yard kick, and he's got the leg. Did he miss? Bass definitely had the leg, but he just missed it wide left. I mean, at least it wasn't wide right. Now the Patriots take over at the 46, and they're gonna hand it off and get past the 50. Stevenson's still going, breaking tackles, and he's not gonna go down. He got them all the way to the 32, and the Bills used their last timeout. Don't know why they're throwing. Now they just use a timeout, and they're still throwing. They could literally run the ball and kill all the time in this game, and they call their last timeout now. Did they do a game update in like the last few days, and he gets sacked and fumbles, and who got it? They recovered it, and they burned all their timeouts, so now they have to rush to the line to spike the ball down to attempt a 49-yard field goal to take the lead, and he nails it. The end of this game has been chaos. It literally feels like neither team wants to win. They got up to the 43 on that. Please just throw it to the end zone. Why are you checking it down? Whatever. The Patriots win the game by 3. There is literally no logic in checking the ball down there. It is genuinely frustrating to see. Now, hopefully the Rams versus Vikings has a normal ending. The Rams were one of the few teams that took a current day quarterback instead of a legend because Josh Allen was in free agency. I figured it only made sense to leave the best quarterbacks in today's game just to have matchups where Josh Allen goes against Joe Theismann and he gets the touchdown. Now Theismann and the Vikings have 30 seconds and 3 timeouts to work with. Jefferson's gonna get the first, but they need a touchdown, so they're gonna need a miracle in Minneapolis once again. Right near midfield, but they've used 2 timeouts. He's gonna throw, and it's gonna be in bounds. So they have to use that last timeout. There's 15 seconds. He's gonna throw, and it's gonna be caught in bounds again. again. Are they going to be able to get the spike? No, they're not even going to try. They're just going to snap it. This is the last play of the game. Theismann's throwing end zone. No, he's not throwing the end zone. Jefferson's getting to the 10. So the Rams hold on to win this game. So we'll go to Indy for the Bengals versus Colts. A pretty cool matchup of Andrew Luck going up against Mike Vick. And in the fourth, the Colts are up by 5. Love the fact we're getting Luck versus former team in the wildcard round. And he's getting the touchdown to take the lead. And of course, they'll go for 2 to make this a field goal game. He's not going to go anywhere. He's actually going to fumble. So they only got a 1-point lead. Also crazy, I'm recording this on August 24th, 6 years to the day when Luck unexpectedly retired. But now the focus shifts to Mike Vick to see if he can get the Colts into field goal range to set up a game-winning kick. It goes without saying, he's insanely dangerous with his legs, but he's got a cannon of an arm too. They're up to the 23, and the Bengals just used their second timeout. He's stuck in the pocket. He lost 7 on that sack, but they're definitely still in field goal range, and he gets sacked again. And instead of milking the clock, they called their last timeout 15 seconds, but they do hit the kick to take the lead. But it is only a 2-point lead, so can Luck do something amazing? Why would you check it down like that? He's gonna throw like a 5-yard out to the sideline, and I'm gonna lose my mind, because what is the point? Anyway, last for the NFC, we got the Bears versus Commanders. Super Bowl champion Steve Young going up against Super Bowl champion John Elway. And Elway and the Bears are down by 3 with 5 minutes to go in the fourth, and he's getting sacked. Definitely not the way you want to start this drive. Thought he was getting sacked again, and he's actually got a lot of space in front of him, and he's going to gain 16 yards back on this catch and run. Managed to get all the way to the 39, and they're going to pick up the first down on the run with Swift. Now from the Commanders 47, let's see what Elway can do. He's going to get sacked, and he's going to shake out of it. What is he doing? He's just standing still. Von Miller picks up the freest sack. Now the goal for Steve Young and the Commanders is just burn as much clock as possible. Gaining 2 yards and running out of bounds is definitely not the way to do it, and that's also not going to help. Just run the damn ball. Like, what are you doing? I mean, he's going to chuck it deep. I swear to God, if this is caught, I'm going to lose my damn mind. And it is, oh my God. They ran 24 seconds off the clock and burned no timeouts. And now the Bears are quickly back to 3rd and 2. He checks down again. What a stiff arm by Swift, which picked up another first because Swift is his best friend on this drive, and that's a touchdown to DJ Moore, who made a great grab. Real quick, we're running back that stiff arm because this was disgusting. They've worked it up to the 47. They got 40 seconds left, but they've had to burn 2 timeouts so far. And that one burned the last time out. They're at the 47. They're going to pick up the first with Scary Terry. Up to the 42 now. They're actually starting to move the ball. He's going to throw across the middle. So they'll kill it with 9 seconds left. And it's 4th and 3. Like, just please, don't do that. Don't throw in the middle of the field. I'm so mad. There's just no logic to the end of these games. But last up for this round, we got the Broncos versus Chargers. But with 2 minutes to go, the Broncos are down by 10. Honestly, this late in the game, it does not look good for Dan Marino and the Broncos. And wow, on 4th and 3, they're actually gonna settle for the long field goal just to cut the lead to 7. But it's onside kick or nothing here, and they won't. So the Chargers hold on to win. Drew Brees in that old school Navy uniform looks so good. So now we'll move on to the divisional round. We'll start out with the Colts versus Steelers. But the Colts are getting destroyed in this game as TJ Watt sacks Mike Vick. So the Steelers can move on to the AFC Championship. Next, we'll move on to the Bears versus Rams. And late in this game, we're tied at 14. Bears got the ball at the 49 with 2 minutes to go. Swift finds a hole and runs over a defender once again. DeAndre Swift has been an absolute monster in these playoffs. But on 3rd and 3 from the 31, they definitely going to throw, which they should not do. Somehow he stayed in bounds though, so they were able to kill like 30 seconds when they hit the field goal to take the lead. Also, how the hell was this not roughing the kicker? That should have been an automatic first down, but now the Rams got the ball and Allen's getting sacked. So the Bears hold on to win this game. So next we got the Chargers versus Patriots. But Kurt Warner and the Patriots have the ball at the 14 with a chance to extend the lead. 3rd and 1 from the 5. They do hand it off, which is smart. And they get the touchdown that will seal this dub. So they're going to the AFC Championship. And last up for this round, we got the Lions versus Seahawks. But we'll get to check out Joe Montana. Never mind, apparently in the next round because they blew out the Lions. So now in the AFC Championship, we got the Patriots versus the Steelers. Fran Tarkenton going up against Kurt Warner. Late in this game, the Patriots are down by 3. And it's 3rd and 7 at the 29 for them. They're already in field goal range for sure, so they can't do anything crazy. Lucky that one wasn't a pick. And from this distance, this will be a chip shot field goal to tie the game at 17. And now Fran and the Steelers have 1 timeout to work with. Why are you running the ball? Genuinely makes no sense if you just have to get in field goal range and then you're gonna throw in the middle of the field. Honestly, the Patriots should be using timeouts now because they have every chance to win this game, and they're gonna get to the 50, very close to field goal range. Losing my damn mind here. They're actually not gonna spike it down with 20 seconds. They're gonna check down and use their last timeout. They are inside field goal range, so if they just play smart and don't lose yards, they'll have enough time to spike the ball. Like, they'll hurry up to the line here, clock's going under 10, and they'll spike it down with 6 left. But from this distance, Chris Boswell's automatic, so of course he nails this kick to send the Steelers to the Super Bowl. But will they face the Bears or Seahawks? John Elway or Joe Montana? Well, the Bears did not show up to play in this game, but we might as well get one last look at John Elway. So the Seahawks are going to the Super Bowl to give us a rematch of Super Bowl 40. And we'll actually check out each team's first drive just in case this somehow turns out to be a blowout. Now it's 3rd and 5. They're definitely in field goal range. He's going to throw to Cooper Kupp, who gets a first down. Former Super Bowl MVP Cooper Kupp, by the way. Wait, hold up. Where is this guy going? It looks like he's running out of the game. Seahawks win 14-3 to the Steelers 15-2, so hopefully this is a good matchup. What the hell was this play? Charbonnet was like 12 yards behind the line of scrimmage when Montana threw this ball. They need to delete that play from the playbook because it is god-awful. He's going to the end zone, and it's, nearly caught. So now on their opening drive, they'll have to settle for the field goal. I honestly love the fact that Fran Tarkenton made it to a Super Bowl in this video. He made it to 3 in real life with the Vikings and lost all 3, including 1 to the Steelers. So it would honestly be poetic if he won his first Super Bowl to a team he lost to, and wow, Roman Wilson was wide open down the middle. So now we'll sim to the 4th, and the Steelers are up 14-3, running away with this game. And Tarkenton's gonna loft it to the back corner of the end zone, where, oh my god, Calvin Austin just mossed it over Tyreek Woolen. And now with 1:45 to go, the Seahawks are at the 15, and they're gonna get a touchdown to MVS. But to have any chance, they need this onside kick, and yeah, they're not getting it. So the Steelers are Super Bowl champions once again. Fran Tarkenton wins his first ever and a Super Bowl MVP. So that'll do it for today's video. Click one of the videos floating on screen to watch another right now, and pretty please check out the merch at Weej.shop. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Be good people.